remember the kind of big breakthrough band for me was Manic Street Preachers. I worked with them for nearly 20 years. And the first time I met them was in a club in London called the Underworld in Camden. And they came in and they were like 18-year-old punk rockers. They had white shirts and white jeans with spray paint on and eye makeup. And it was the first time I'd seen any. It was kind of a revisit of my youth, because you know they looked like they were in the Clash, or kind of better looking version of the Clash or something. And they looked great. And they turned out, they had little guitar amps, and they put them on the stage and they started playing. And I stopped them. Stop! And they went, what? And I went, don't those amps go any louder? Turn those amps up, would you? And they laughed and they said, you know, you're the first engineers ever said to turn them up. Everybody always tells us to turn it down. Do you want to come on tour with us? And I said, you haven't even heard me mix yet. They went, we don't care. You know, that's fine. You want us to be louder? That's good. So no, I wasn't scared of it. In fact, you know, back in the early days of the Manics, we used to spend all day going out and buying guitars and amplifiers because they'd smashed them all to bits the night before. So that was, you know, good. I'm all for a bit of mayhem. I remember there was probably the moment where I thought, wow, this is a proper gig now, was when I did the Manic Street Preachers on the Millennium show. It was, you know, 1999, 2000, Millennium. We all thought all the computers were going to fail, remember that? And there was 80,000 people in a football arena in Wales, and the band came on stage and they all shouted. And there was this warm beery wind blew past me, and the kind of hairs went up in the back of my neck, and I thought, right, I don't think I'm a musician anymore. I think pretty much I'm a sound engineer. The great thing about working with Massive Attack was they're very creative and open people, you know. There's nothing is too radical and extreme with them. So, you know, if you work with Coldplay, you know, it's a very specific sound. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be like the album. You need to get it just right. It's not open to improvisation. You know, they're cool people. They're really nice people. They really look after their crew. But in terms of the pure mixing, it's the satisfaction isn't getting it perfect. With Massive Attack, they said to me, and I quote, just go out there and fuck it up, right? Just make it as crazy and as dubbed up as you like. We want it to sound like the Mad Professor's mixing us live. And so it was a weird kind of thing. We spent 6 weeks in the production rehearsals doing the virtual soundcheck thing with Venue. So the band would play the tune and then they would leave. And then I'd sit there with the producer and with Robert, the main guy, and we would sit and mix each song in the live show as if we were mixing the album. And we'd get all of the weird effects things that they did in the studio, and none of it was sampled. Yeah, all of the effects was live. I was doing all of that stuff live. There's a live drummer, live electronic drummer, keyboards, bass, guitar, 6 vocals, and everything was live. There's no click track. There was no backing tracks. Okay. It's an important point. So we had to get all of that, those kind of weird sound. And then once we had all of that, and we spent 6 weeks getting that all perfect, then he went, right, now go and mess it up. So I actually felt, you know, it's a terrible cliche, you know, when sound engineers go, oh, I'm the 5th member of the band. No, you're not, you're the sound engineer. But in that one particular occasion with Massive Attack, I wasn't in the band, but I was a creative force attached to the band, you know, rather than normally you're a conduit through which the music comes. Normally a sound engineer's job is to be invisible. Actually, a sound engineer's job is just to take what's happening on the stage and make it a little bit louder so that everybody can hear it, right? People actually, sound engineers forget that, and I think that's a really important thing. Your job is just to make the band a little bit louder so everybody can hear it, okay? And in a Massive Attack, it was different. It was put in some creative input, bring in some weird dynamics and some weird panning effects, and make the experience more visceral for the audience, you know. My wife said that Massive Attack don't speak to your brain or to your ears, they speak directly to your id, and that's kind of what I was about, was trying to make that experience, you know. Two moments that stick in my mind. The first time I ever did anything with Natalie Imbruglia, it was before I was really very interested in digital consoles. It was a radio show in London, and it was a Yamaha O2R, which I'd never seen before in my life, and it was mixing her and her band doing an acoustic session live at the BBC on air. So I was like, oh, great. And I kind of fought my way through it, and actually it was okay, got away with it. But the first time I worked with a digital console that I loved was the venue. I was doing Manics Preachers production rehearsals, and my friend Mike Case brought one along, who was the sales manager at the time. He said, try this, it's a new console from DigiDesign, who I only knew from Pro Tools. Okay. And I tried it, and the whole plugins and the virtual sound check, and I was like, that was the first time I'd been really excited. I'd worked on other desks, I'd worked on, you know, the Japanese one and the Scottish one, I'd worked on those. I thought they were okay, thought they sounded pretty good. I didn't have enough reason to get rid of my XL4 and Stretch and my Al Smarts and my Distressors. There was not enough reason, because at that stage in my career I could kind of choose whatever I wanted, so I was still pretty much stuck in the analog world. But the venue was the first time I kind of had the, you know, the road to Damascus moment where I thought, okay, now I can actually see the point of digital. Now I get that it brings some added value, you know. The thought that I can just stick whatever plug-in I wanted on my desk and record to Pro Tools and play it back, so I didn't need the band anymore. I could do the virtual sound check without the band. That was the first time I was like, okay, I get it, digital rules. And I kind of made a conscious decision at that point, right, I need to learn this stuff, because if this is so good now, analog's going to be dead in 10 years' time. And actually I think it's probably already dead now.